Hi, I'm Hugh. Welcome back to my Shropshire kitchen garden. You're here in my polytunnel today. What I want to show you, some of the things I've already got growing in here, and we're also going to do a little bit of work planting on some seedlings into bigger pots. So if you follow me in here, in these two pots at the end I've got carrots growing. What I wanted to achieve was getting some really early carrots growing, and you can see now they're about 2 inches tall. We'll see whether they work or not. Here I've got 3 different types of courgette. I've got a Tuscany courgette, which is a very typical green courgette. Limona, it's a yellow courgette, it won't surprise you. And then we've got a Latino one here, which is a striped one. Behind I've got some basil, some melon and some kale. And my job today is to put all of those on into pots so that they can start building their root structure and be stronger, ready when they go out later in the year. Behind them I've got 2 lots here and another 2 here of potatoes. Now I've planted these about 3 weeks ago at a much lower level. There's a potato called Swift. They're renowned for being a very early potato. New potatoes are one of my all-time favourite things. So I want to get these growing really early. As they've been growing, I've been earthing them up. So you'll see now that the level of soil is pretty much at the top of the pots. The one thing I do need to be careful about with these, and most of the things in here, is they're not frost tolerant. We will get a bit more frost. In fact, I think we're forecast one probably Monday, Tuesday next week. Beyond, we've got some cucumbers growing here. I'm just growing these on, building their strength. They'll go out into bigger pots in a week or 2. We've got some Brussels sprouts. Again, I've got to pot those on into bigger pots. You'll see what I've done with these. There's some Brussels sprouts and we've got some cabbage. A few weeks ago they were in a tray like this, and I've put them on into these pots so that they're each on their own in a pot. We've got some reddish lettuces here. I've got 2 trays of marigolds. Now I'm going to plant those marigolds out. Those pots can go out in the main part of the garden now. Marigolds are a wonderful thing as a companion plant for keeping away insects and bugs. I've got here a tray of radishes. Now these are going to be very, very early radishes. They're not ready to eat yet, but if we just pull one up, it's just beginning to fatten out. Behind we've got a tray of some more advanced lettuces, tomatoes. In another couple of weeks I'll put these into bigger pots, and then a couple of weeks after that they will then go down into the main part of the polytunnel. Behind that we've got some spring onions and some leeks. They're not ready for transplanting on yet. And some parsley. Now, parsley is quite difficult to germinate. It requires quite sustained warm soil. So generally it's better to sow directly in the soil in August, September, and will germinate then to give you early parsley. These I've grown germinated in an electric heated propagator in the kitchen. And then behind here we've got some broccoli, and that will do next winter. It's purple sprouting broccoli. And then I've also got some peas here, and I'm going to need to pot those on as well in a week or 2. I've got some seedlings here. These are courgettes, Tuscany, very traditional green courgette. These I've grown on from seeds in these trays in an electric heated propagator in the kitchen. I'm going to take each one of these individually and put it on into a pot with some soil around it. So here we go, I'm just tipping it out gently. You can see underneath the root structure there, there's a good mix there of the individual seeds. There's one of them. What I'm going to do, I'm going to fill a pot about halfway up, holding the plant by its leaves, putting it in the pot and then putting some soil around it. And then just gently tamp that down. So I'm going to do some more of these now. Filling the pot about halfway full. Gently teasing apart one of the seeds with as much of its root structure as possible. Holding it by its leaves into the pot and soil around. We will just gently tamp that down. A bit later today, when the sun is off the polytunnel, I'll water these. You don't want to hit water in the heat of the day if at all possible, because it can scorch the leaves. Okay, so what I'm planting on now, I've got these kale seedlings, and I'm going to get them into these individual little fibre pots. They can build their roots in there, and then when I plant these out in the garden, all I need to do is just pull off the bottom and it'll go straight in to grow. I've done one already, and I'm going to put the label in with that. It's always worth remembering exactly what you've planted, because later on in the year when they get a bit bigger, all of these cabbage family plants look very similar until they're fully grown. So we'll just put a bit of soil in the pot and tease out one of the seedlings, get it with as much of its root structure as possible into the pot, and then just lightly, gently put soil around that. So I've got lots more of these to do, so I'm just going to gradually work on through these and show you the finished product in a bit. Tray of kale. I've got 15 plants in there. Now I'm not going to need all of those. I probably only need 6 or so of those, but this gives me a good chance of success. And then any that are left over I can parcel out to people in the village who might want them for their garden. Now, so I've done some courgettes, I've done some kale. I'm just going to get on and do the same thing with the melon, the basil and the other 2 types of courgettes. And I'll show you that when that's a finished article. So I've finished potting out all those plants. I've got trays here of all of my various courgettes, melon, basil and kale. They've got an opportunity now to really build their own root structure within their individual pots. Later in the year I can either plant them out, or in the case of the melon and the basil, we'll probably grow them in the polytunnel. So we'll come back and look at those in a week or 2. So join me in my next video in the Shropshire kitchen garden, and I'm going to be planting some seeds in trays in the propagator inside to get them germinating nicely. Goodbye.